Hey guys, how's it going? So this is the very first video that I get to shoot on this brand new camera that I got. Well, not brand new, but it's new to me. And it's a Sony a5000 mirrorless camera, and I think it's a definite upgrade from what I was using before. So I'm still figuring out some settings, but hey, came in the mail today, so let's give it a try. I wanted to take this video just to sort of expand on a topic that I've touched on in the past, which is performance anxiety or stage fright. This is something I've struggled with in some form or another for my entire musical life at varying degrees, sometimes at nearly crippling levels. I'm still not 100% rid of it, to be honest, and I don't think I'll ever be, but I have figured out some things that help mitigate it. So if you struggle with stage fright or performance anxiety, maybe this will help, so stick around. Also, if you do find this video helpful, drop me a like and consider getting subscribed to the channel. Both of these things come at no cost to you and are extremely helpful for me as a newer creator. Anyway, so where does performance anxiety come from? I definitely think it varies from person to person for sure, but for me, it's a multifaceted issue. For me, it comes from an overarching desire to do really well. Now, obviously, we all want to do really well in performances. It's literally why we practice for all those hours, right? But have you ever experienced the part where you feel really well prepared for something, you're all cool and collected about it, and then like 5 minutes before it's time to actually do the thing, your chest tightens up, heart rate increases, muscles tense up, arms heavy, knees weak, mom's spaghetti. And it doesn't go away, and it affects your performance. Yeah, that was me for a long time, at like every performance. Beyond the desire to do well was another overarching feeling of wanting others to think I was good.
Did you think that was good? Tell me I'm good. Tell me it was good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me that was good. Tell me.
To be honest, I'm not sure how common or uncommon this is. I suspect it's more common than not, but let me know what you think down in the comments. But I would always want to present myself in such a way that made it seem like I knew what I was doing and I was good at something, even if I wasn't. So when it came time to perform something, even if it was for like my parents, the desire to be perceived as good, coupled with the desire to do really well, now presented a double threat. But it doesn't end there. Beyond the desire to do well and wanting others to think I'm good was an additional layer of generalized anxiety. Now, to be fair, most of this was entirely self-imposed, but definitely compounded by the former two issues. I spent most of my 20s with a lot of insecurity and self-doubt, which also compounded my generalized anxiety levels. Combine that with the fact that I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day. Do not do this. Full stop. It's stupid. If you smoke, stop it. Find whatever intrinsic motivation you need to quit, whether it's for health reasons or financial reasons, or you just don't want to smell like an ashtray anymore. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Back to the video. Combine that with the fact that I smoked a pack of cigarettes a day and drank enough coffee to jumpstart a dead elephant, coupled with the desire to do well and wanting others to think I'm good, and compounding on top of the generalized anxiety, gang, we're arriving at a triple and a quadruple threat. But wait, there's more. Beyond the desire to do well, wanting others to think I'm good, the smoking, the coffee, the insecurity, and the self-doubt, and the now mounting levels of generalized anxiety, I was consistently underprepared. I didn't really think I was at the time, but once I finally learned what it truly feels like to be fully prepared for a performance, I looked back and realized that I spent a large chunk of my 20s woefully underprepared for concerts, gigs, and auditions. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't crash, burn, and fail at any of them. Well, most of them. I had a couple of questionable auditions. But I would often be relying pretty heavily on instinct and adaptation instead of the reliability of just being really well prepared in the first place. I think I was focused so much on wanting to show everyone how good I was that I failed to focus more on the process of growth and learning. This process, I think, is the most important, but I was focused too much on, I need to get this right now, instead of focusing on what can I do to make it so I get this right every time. Then, when I would get it once or twice, I would delude myself into thinking that the thing was prepared, and I would trick myself out of practicing it, which made the problem worse. So in summary, I was an actual walking ball of anxiety for most of my early adulthood and music career. But the real question you might have is, what have I done to make it better? I think the first and foremost thing that I did was to play for more people. This might seem obvious, but because I really wanted people to think I was good, I would often wait to play for people until I was ready, which usually meant that I was playing for people like a week before an audition, long after any meaningful feedback can be taken on board and actually practiced. I think for auditions specifically, you should be playing your stuff for others in mock auditions as far out from the audition date as is reasonably possible, depending on your timeline. If you have 4 months to prepare, for example, start playing for people like 2 months before. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be with it, and the more likely you're going to have a successful audition experience. The second best thing I did was to quit smoking and drink less caffeine. I remember I was in a lesson in grad school and I was playing the Glier Tarantella. If you're not familiar, it's extremely fast and pretty difficult, and I was under the very catastrophic misconception that I needed to drink a whack ton of coffee in order to play fast, which in turn just ended up skyrocketing my anxiety levels and amplifying all of my other anxiety contributors and sabotaging my playing. I also remember a different time where I was playing a set of fast fusion tunes with a jazz group, and I made the genius decision to grab a quad espresso before the hit. My body was literally buzzing the entire time. It did not go well. Another thing that I've been doing is continually working to revise my practice routines with the goal of getting the most bulletproof presentation possible. This is still happening. It's constantly in a state of revision, since I learn new strategies and tricks all the time. The long and short of it is to practice regularly and consistently, practice smart, play for people often, know the music inside and out, and be prepared for any kind of worst case scenario possible. As an example of a worst case scenario, I was out of town for an audition, and I thought I knew where the hall was. It was a big city and I was naturally quite nervous, but I found a place to park, not realizing that the hall was actually a mile away. So, being nervous about finding the hall and not wanting to lose out on the $20 that I just paid for parking, I carried my bass there because there was no sidewalk for me to use my wheel. Upon my arrival, my arms were dead from carrying the bass, and I was called into my private practice room like 10 minutes later, and I played my audition 20 minutes after that. It did not go well. One final thing that helped me a ton is working on controlling my breath through meditation. During my summer at Aspen, I decided kind of on a whim to attend a meditation workshop with Irene Gabrud. And I actually learned through working on this video that she unfortunately passed away in November, which makes me ever more grateful that I was able to learn from her when I did. Anyway, so she walked us through how to use meditation to combat performance anxiety and be able to present our absolute best selves in performance. This was kind of a game changer for me. I admittedly need to practice this more, but the idea is to practice it to the point that you can condense the entire process of relaxing your whole body and mind and controlling your breath into a few minutes or less, so that in the 5 minutes before you have to go do the thing, where you normally experience tension, heart rate increase, shaky hands, now you have a strategy to directly counter this and dramatically increase your chances of having a good performing experience. As I said, I'm by no means perfect at combating my own self-sabotaging anxieties, and it still does crop up from time to time. However, I have had some success with implementing some of the things that I talked about in this video. But now I want to hear from you. Do you have strategies for combating anxiety and stage fright that have worked for you that I didn't mention? Do you have a story about a time that your anxiety got in your way? Are you going to quit smoking because you watched this video? Let me know down in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your thoughts. But that is going to do it for me on this one. If you liked the video or found it helpful, leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel for more bass and music content. You can also follow me on Instagram for additional bass stuff as well as A+ tier cat content. Additionally, if you're interested in supporting the channel further, I'll leave a link to my Patreon down in the video description. A very big thank you and special shout out to the patrons that you see on your screen right now. As always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day today, and I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. Catch you later. Bye.